Welcome in, everybody. Thank you for joining us for Life After AEP. My name is Matt Alina, and I come to you from the Life Markets team here at URL Insurance Group. And today's presentation is really just to discuss life. Yes, a pun is intended. Life after AEP, life insurance, but it also can open up the doors for other lines of business, not just life insurance. I will say this, that as we're talking about today's topic, that life insurance, final expense life insurance, and Medicare really do go hand in hand. We're going to be talking about some compliant sales techniques, ways to basically grow your business, um, keep the poachers away from you, your competitors that do final expense in Medicare and a bunch of other lines, to get more referrals and to diversify. Now, I know very little about Medicare. I know that Medicare is typically for those older individuals. That's their health insurance option. There's Medicare Advantage and there's Medicare supplements. I know that there are a lot of compliance issues out there, a lot of compliance things. But from somebody that is on the outside, I did hear some rumblings of things that were kind of some pain points for a lot of you in the Medicare world. You have to get those certifications. I know that AHIP and all the other certifications for all of those carriers, it takes a lot of time, a lot of repetition. It's a lot of the same thing year after year, and it's just a real pain in the neck. I get that. The other thing that I understand, this kind of happened in the middle of the selling AEP season, was what plans are or are not going to be paying commissions. And that can be rather frustrating that you're taking the time, you're doing the certifications, you're helping get people enrolled in the best plans, and then you find out in the middle of the game that you're not going to get paid. So I understand that those are some pain points. Well, let me explain to you that there aren't any certifications or additional certifications that you need to do any of the cross-selling, cross-pollinating in your book of business. If you hold a life insurance license and you hold a health insurance license, you can pretty much access any of the products that URL has to offer. Another nice thing about doing other lines of business, and I'm going to ask this question. I know the answer to this. All of that work that you've done for the last 6, 8 weeks or so, did you get paid yet? I know you didn't. And I know that a lot of times those nice hefty checks don't come in until after the first of the year. The business that you do with life insurance, with annuities and other lines of business, you get paid right away, which is rather nice, especially for people who are after AEP. You're jumping into the holiday season. You have gifts to buy. You also want to do some R&R, and you want to be able to put money down on that all-inclusive resort, or you want to buy those expensive toys. The life insurance commissions that you earn, you get paid on that right away as well. So the purpose for today's presentation is to really just show you the benefits of offering final expense to your Medicare clients. The reason I'm saying final expense in today's presentation is because final expense and Medicare clients, they're one and the same. A lot of your Medicare clients need final expense, and final expense clients need Medicare. Final expense sales meets a growing need. Just like Medicare clients, that number of people that are turning age 65, you've heard this, 10,000 a day or something like that across the country. As that number continues to grow, as the aging baby boomers continues to grow, so does the opportunity for final expense. Offering other lines of service, especially final expense, is going to increase client loyalty. You're not just a one-trick pony to your clients. You can offer them other products and services. It also gives you more opportunities for referrals. You're not just the Medicare advisor. You can also be the final needs advisor legacy planning services, not just Medicare. And it also allows you to make more money and you get paid quickly too. So while there are some questions about what companies are and what products that you're offering from the Medicare side, whether or not you're going to get paid for your time and your knowledge and your efforts, you will get paid for your knowledge, your time, and your efforts selling final expense. And final expense does meet a growing need. The other thing, a study that we did earlier in the year, there are final expense agents out there, folks, that are working in your backyard and they're sending out lead mailers, they're sending out different marketing pieces to your Medicare clients. Believe it or not, this is just with URL. This was up in the northeastern portion of Pennsylvania, where we looked at all the leads, final expense leads that came in, and we found that 20% of the people requesting final expense help are already working with a Medicare advisor affiliated with URL. 20%. That's where you're going to get the numbers of how you can grow your revenue by 20%. Your clients are contacting other people because they're asking, they need that final expense help. They're looking for that help and that guidance. And many of our Medicare advisors are not offering and not circling back with their Medicare clients. Let's understand final expense life insurance. One of the misconceptions or a common myth when it comes to final expense is that it is just solely to pay for funeral expenses and burial, cremation, all of that stuff. But that's not the case. A final expense life insurance policy is just that. It is a life insurance policy. It is intended to help cover the costs of end of life expenses like funeral costs, but it also can help pay off medical bills. It can provide income for the spouse that person has left behind. But it provides the money and it provides lifelong benefits. Folks, the people that you're serving on the Medicare side, they're seeing those advertisements from AARP, Globe Life, Colonial Penn, and the list goes on and on. A lot of times those products, they are not fully guaranteed. Rates aren't going to be fully locked in. Coverage may cancel at a certain period of time. The products that you can offer your clients through your Medicare relationship here at URL, through the life insurance area, you have access to products that are going to lock in a rate that's never going to increase on the client, and it is going to provide your clients lifelong benefits. Typically, on a final needs planning, the underwriting is very liberal. There's no medical exams, there's no medical records. It's not guaranteed issue, although we do have guaranteed issue plans. It's not just guaranteed issue. And you can typically get face amounts starting anywhere from about 5,000 to 35,000. There are companies that will go up even higher than that to 40 or even 50,000. We talked about the growing need, and the aging population in the United States is growing. Funeral costs, funeral homes are in business, and funeral costs are also steadily increasing. And it's making it harder for more and more families and more people to cover those expenses. The number of people that are getting cremated versus burials is growing by leaps and bounds. It's not because somebody wants to be cremated, it's because that's what they can afford. Taking a look at statistics, the average cost of a funeral is over $7,000 and it can go as high as 12,000. I've even seen 15,000 or more. A lot of it depends on where the person lives and if you're in an urban area versus a rural area. Many seniors, the families of many of these seniors do not have the money to cover these costs. And that's why a final needs plan, a final expense plan is vitally important for many of these families. It provides money tax-free to the beneficiary and it avoids probate. It provides immediate cash on hand, and it alleviates the financial burden, the financial worry. Now, what's in it for the clients? As you know, URL Insurance Group, where we say we are in the people business. And first and foremost, it's about the clients, it's about the consumer. What final expense plans provide, which is just like what Medicare provides, is it provides peace of mind. Just like a Medicare plan provides that peace of mind that they can go and see the doctor that's in their network. If they come up with some weird ailment or weird disease or something like that, God forbid, they can go and see the doctor. They can receive the treatment, and they're not going to go into financial ruin. A final expense plan does the exact same thing. It provides that financial peace of mind, knowing that when, it's not if, it's when that person dies, that there is going to be money there for their family, for the executor of their estate to pay off those funeral expenses so they don't have to put it on a credit card. They can pay off those medical bills. It can pay those legal fees, the taxes, and other debts. Again, final expense life insurance is life insurance. It avoids probate and it avoids taxes. It's also very simple, and it's very accessible. So when you're dealing with seniors, you know that they're going to have some pre-existing medical conditions. They may have had a heart attack. They may have had cancers or strokes. They may have diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and a whole list of other problems. But the application process, the simplicity of it makes this so easy. It's so easy to cross sell this because you already have that relationship with the client. It's just a matter of finding the need and meeting the need and asking a few questions. So the application process is very simple. I had mentioned before, there are no medical exams for this type of coverage. It's yes or no application questions, and they're not going after medical records. And typically, underwriting decisions are made within just a couple of minutes at that point of sale, whether you're face to face with the client or you're over the phone and talking to them over the phone or through a Zoom call or something of that nature. Very easy, non-invasive. Because the underwriting is done so fast, you get paid quickly too. So, what's in it for me is in you as the advisor, as the agent. When you are offering final expense, it is increasing your revenue. Average annual premium for final expense is around $800 annually. I know that that's typically more than what you make on a Medicare plan. Um, so you have increased revenue. So you have your relationships. And if you're talking and converting 20% of your book of business, it's not going to happen overnight. But if you convert 20% of your of your Medicare book of business into final expense, can you imagine the money that you're going to be making? So you're going to increase the overall revenue of your agency, and you'll be able to. So you're increasing the the renewals, and you're increasing the revenue, but you're also increasing your client retention. You're offering a comprehensive range of products and services, not just Medicare. You're giving the customer more reasons to contact you, not just for not just for Medicare. It gives you another touch point too. You've already helped them with Medicare. Contact them, circle back through a letter, follow up with a phone call. Let me say that again. Send them a thank you letter, follow up with a phone call, and talk to them about the importance of final expense insurance. Clients appreciate the convenience. They like the one-stop shop, and they like the fact that they can contact you and you can be the jack of all trades and you can master the senior marketplace. It also increases different revenue streams or referral streams for that matter. So you have people that will contact you because they need help. They're turning 65 and they need help with Medicare. But you also will have people that'll contact you to say, "Hey, I need to talk to you about um, my final needs planning." Taking it a step further, there are also opportunities where you can maybe their biggest concern is their long-term care or providing a legacy where they want to transfer some of their wealth and they have a lump sum of money that they want to pass on to the next generation. We can help you with that. Do not turn business away. That relationship, instead of turning Medicare, you can treat Medicare as a transaction, but treat it as a relationship that will pay dividends. You may have clients that will need help when it comes to uh, their biggest concern is outliving their retirement, outliving their money. We have people on our annuity team as well that can help you with that. So it's not just final expense opportunities, but that Medicare relationship that you have is a springboard to so many different opportunities. We're going to talk about overcoming some objections. One of the apprehensions, before we get into the slide that you see there, one of the apprehensions from advisors is that they don't want to come across as being too pushy. Yes, life insurance is sold. People don't get up in the morning and say, I am going to go out and buy life insurance. But you have to ask for the business because there are other advisors out there that are doing both Medicare and life insurance, and they may be spending money on that final expense lead. What is stopping them from circling back and contacting your client during the next AEP and poaching your client? So, some of the concerns from a consumer is that they may worry about the cost of premiums. So cost is a big one. Some clients may also question the necessity of a final expense plan if they have savings or other life insurance. So let me address a couple of these things. First of all, the affordability of life insurance premiums. It's always better when it comes to life insurance, it's always better to leave something better than leaving nothing at all. And a lot of times, I know that when you're sitting down and you're talking to your Medicare client, you're looking to try to help them save money, trying to find the most cost effective way to get their insurance coverages, their drug plans, their ability to see their doctors in their network, and that it's affordable. If you've been able to save some money for that client, why not take some of that savings and put that into a life insurance policy? You don't have to do all of it, but maybe some of it. Understand that one of the questions that you may have to pose to a client is, if you died tonight, who is going to be planning your funeral and are they financially prepared? So they may question the necessity of it. So if they died tonight, ask them this question: if you died tonight, who is going to be contacting the funeral home to plan the funeral, and are they financially prepared? Understand that it really should be that the person, it should be yours and my responsibility. I pay for my funeral so that my family does not have to do that, because it turns into a financial burden. Some people may already have life insurance, which is fantastic. It's great that they do. Find out whether or not it's through an employer. Maybe they're still working and they have that as a benefit. Is that insurance transferable when they leave, or should they leave that employment either from retirement or moving to another job? Some people may have life insurance independently through you already. Find out whether or not what that money was earmarked for. If it was already earmarked for their final expenses and other things, great. Sometimes people purchase life insurance because they want to cover their mortgage, rent payments, income replacement, and it was not earmarked to pay for funeral costs, funeral expenses, medical bills. So find out some of those things. But it's effective to be able to just sit down and have that conversation. Worst case scenario is you leave there without the sale, but you've provided the client peace of mind. Understand what final expense is. When it comes to life insurance, there's different underwriting categories. It's just like if you've ever done traditional life insurance, you've heard of preferred and standard and substandard risks. When it comes to final expense, the terminology for underwriting is level graded, modified, guaranteed issue. When you're sitting down and you're talking to somebody about a final expense plan, the goal when you're sitting down with somebody is to get them into a level benefit. That means that it provides day one protection, day one coverage, and the rates are locked in. Coverage never goes away as long as the premiums are paid. There are no surprises there. They pay a set premium. When they die, their beneficiary is going to get the benefit amount that they have paid for. So if they pay X amount of premium, they have a $15,000 benefit. When they pass away, that $15,000 is paid to their beneficiary. It avoids taxes and it avoids probate. To get a level premium product, you don't have to be in the best of health. Diabetics can get a day one benefit. People who have had a heart attack, cancer, or stroke can get a day one benefit, a level benefit. It really depends on when that problem, that health issue occurred, and whether or not those health issues are being addressed either through medication or just making sure they're going to the doctor. There are going to be people that you're going to sit down and talk to that are going to either get a graded or a modified benefit because they have those pre-existing medical conditions. Maybe they're currently going through cancer treatment, or they've had more than one form of cancer, or they recently have had a heart attack, cancer, or stroke. And when I say recent, within the last 12 months, yes, then a graded benefit's probably going to be needed, or a modified benefit. It really depends on the company that you're writing. A graded benefit may mean that if they die in the first year, the beneficiary gets 30% of the death benefit. Second year, 70%, 100% thereafter. Or a modified benefit could be what is called a return of premium plus interest. With our carriers, it's typically about 10%. Now, you're going to run into situations where you're going to need guaranteed issue, no medical questions asked. The client just has to be able to live at least 2 years, and those are companies like Gerber, Corebridge, and there's a bunch of others out there where if they died in the first 2 years, the beneficiary is going to get back all the premiums paid plus 10% interest. On all these graded, modified, and guaranteed issue plans, if the client were to die due to an accidental cause, car accident, something like that, the full death benefit is paid out immediately to the beneficiary. It's not a graded or modified scenario in that place, in that situation. In all these situations, whether it's a level, graded, modified, or guaranteed issue, the rates are locked in. They will never increase on your client. No ifs, ands, or buts. One of the mistakes that many advisors on the Medicare side, when they're selling final expenses, they automatically go guaranteed issue. And you don't have to automatically go guaranteed issue. Try and get them into a level day one benefit. And if the client's health keeps them from getting the guaranteed issue, you always have guaranteed issue, or the level benefit, you always have guaranteed issue to fall back on. Let's take a little bit of a deeper look into a final expense plan. So again, some of the key features, again, simplified issue underwriting. It does not mean guaranteed issue. There are medical questions. It's just that they don't have to do exams and the underwriter is not going after medical records. Immediate underwriting decisions are provided with most of the companies. So you get to know before you go. These are plans that are designed for older clientele, people 50, 60, 70, 80 and older. Most of those people will qualify. As I'd mentioned before, the rates are locked in. They're never going to increase. They're never going to get that surprise letter. You're never going to have to circle back with your client and explain to them now that they're 10 years older, the premiums are going to increase. And it provides lifelong coverage. The premiums and benefits are flexible, meaning it's all done based on budget. You get that budget, that premium commitment. We try to get them the maximum death benefit. Beneficiaries, just like a traditional life insurance, your client is naming their own beneficiary: son, daughter, spouse, grandson, granddaughter, niece, nephew. They're not naming a funeral home as the beneficiary, and they can make those changes as they deem necessary. So let's take a look at some of the cross-selling strategies. How do you compliantly reapproach your Medicare client to talk to them about final expense? Take a look at your Medicare appointment to schedule a future meeting to introduce them to final expense. So there's two things that we have here at URL. One, we have a compliant intake form that we're actually in the process of revamping. And we also have a compliant thank you letter. Let me talk to you first about the compliant intake form. Have you ever noticed that when you go to a doctor, or when your clients go to a doctor, they sit down, they're handed a clipboard, and they sit down and they go over their medical history, and they ask them a bunch of different questions. This intake form, which is compliant, also asks them more financial health questions and concerns. So they may be concerned about wealth transfer, moving money from one generation to the next when they pass away. What's the most cost-effective way to do that? That it's going to avoid probate. It's going to avoid taxes. What's a cost-effective way so that the person does not live their retirement or their 401k? What's a cost-effective way to help them with their final expense, final needs planning? So there's the intake form that you can complete when you're meeting with a client to discuss Medicare. It's compliant. You're not talking about the products. You're gauging their interest. The next thing is then it's now the life after AEP. AEP is over. Now is the perfect time to send out thank you letters to your Medicare clients. We already have a pre-formatted letter that all you need to do is copy and paste. All you need to do is ask me. I'll be happy to get you the forms, the intake form, as well as the thank you letter. You can make any adjustments, any edits that you want. You can customize it however you want. Send out thank you letters in manageable batches, and you must follow up with a phone call. Sending out a thank you letter is not going to prompt somebody to pick up the phone and call you. You need to be proactive. So send out the thank you letters, and then follow up with a phone call a week or two later, making sure that they got the letter, and set up a time to go over and discuss the final expense planning, final needs planning. There's other effective marketing channels that you can access. Many of the agent partners that work with us here at URL, they will utilize direct mail. They'll use social media. There's email marketing. They host community events. They build an online media presence, social media, websites, and they're asking for referrals. They're being proactive. So they're doing the direct mail. They're doing the social media. They're emailing their existing clients. They're getting access to people and communicating with people. And believe it or not, folks, the rules and regulations that you have to abide by with CMS about marketing, you don't have those same rules for final expense. So if you can get them on the final expense side of the house and do the external marketing there, now you have that person that you can then circle back and offer them Medicare. And you can organically grow your business that way. And always ask for referrals. Always ask for referrals. So how do you identify some people that are going to be interested in final expense plans? Again, the target audience is going to be most of your Medicare clients. You're going to have some high net worth clients that final expense is not going to be it's not of interest to them. But it's typically going to target most seniors age 45 to 85. Now, when I say seniors, I understand people who are 45 and 50, they're not seniors. Once you're hitting 65, 70, then you're technically, in my opinion, a senior. But those products, the final expense products address most people ages 45 to 85. The qualifying questions, um, eh, some of the things are you familiar with state, when you're talking to a person, are you familiar with the state regulated final expense life insurance program? Life insurance is regulated by the state. It's not a smoke and mirrors thing. All of these products and all these final expense products that are offered have to go through state regulations. So ask the client, are you familiar with the state regulated final expense life insurance program? No, I don't know anything about it. Get into the topic. What arrangements have you made to take care of your final expenses? Some people may have already had some of that stuff. How are they going to pay for it? So they may know that their son or their daughter is going to be the executor of their estate. It's going to cost money. How do they pay for it? And for those married people that you're sitting down and talking to married couples, do you know what happens to your Social Security income when one of you dies? And for those of you, just let me give you a little glimpse on how Social Security works. If both the husband and wife are collecting Social Security income and one of them dies, they get to keep the greater benefit, but they're losing the lesser Social Security monthly benefit. For some people, that's a lot of money, and they don't realize that a final expense policy can provide some money to help them get their financial affairs in order. Let's talk about overcoming the objections. When you're talking to somebody and you're describing the final expense product, you're going to get these are the four common objections. You're going to get this every time, or I shouldn't say every time. You're going to get this a lot. I can't afford it. Now is not a good time. I need to think about it, or I need to talk this over with my family. Understand that you can get somebody approved for a final expense policy today, but the coverage doesn't have to take effect for another 30 days or so. So if somebody says I can't afford it, ask them, what alternative plan do you have that will make sure that you aren't leaving your final expenses to your family or your friends and loved ones? What other financial alternative do you have that you think of? Um, Throwing it back out there. Doesn't it make sense to do and leave a little bit of something now is better than leaving nothing at all? Some people may say now is not a good time. Come back with this question. What would make this a good time? What would make now a good time to actually making a decision? There's a good time, and sadly, um, there's really never a good time, I should say. And sadly, I've been doing this for a long time. And when people say that, they're just kicking the can down the road. And it gets to a point where the good time to do it never happens. And they find out that either they're ready to do something because the doctor has given them bad news, or they just do nothing at all. Again, doesn't it make sense to do a little bit of something now instead of nothing at all? I need to think about it is another one. And for that, I always say I completely agree. That's why I'm not allowed during our meeting today, I'm not allowed to ask for any money, accept any money, or take any money during our meeting today. My job is to get you approved. And if you want to continue with the coverage, you can keep it going. You can pay your premium. Otherwise, let me know you're not interested, and we can cancel it at any time. Um, or I need to talk this over with my family. I completely agree. We want you to talk this over with your family. That's why when you get approved for this product, we're going to mail you a packet of information that's going to cover everything that we've talked about today. And we can sit down together with your son, your daughter, your family to go over the program and show you what this is all about. The sales process is really in 4 steps. The first step is to build rapport. Folks, if you've already helped them with Medicare, that rapport is already there. Step 2 is to present the product. Show them why it's important. You need to address the why. If they've agreed to meet with you, find out why they agreed to meet with you. They obviously don't want to leave debt behind to their family, but find out what their concerns are. It may be that they don't want to leave medical bills behind, or they want income protection. There's a whole bunch of reasons. Step 3 is to handle the common objections, and step 4 is to finalize or close the sale. Ethics and compliance. You have to always prioritize your client's best interests. Of course, you have to ensure that you're compliant with CMS regulations. You can't get into product details at a Medicare appointment, but you can tell the client, if you're on a final expense appointment, that you do Medicare, and it is not against regulations to let the client know that you can help them with other products and services at a later date. You do have to wait a minimum of 48 hours before you can talk to them about other products and services if the scope of appointment is for Medicare. So I do have a little bit of a call to action here. It's life after AEP. You are going to take a little bit of a breather. You're going to enjoy some of that time off, but I know you're going to be jumping back into things and you want to grow that business. So my question to you is, why would you let somebody else work with your client? I told you, just in a certain section of Pennsylvania, 20% of the final expense leads that have come in and have been processed, they're already working with you. Why would you let somebody work with them on Medicare? That's your client. And then again, what's stopping them from poaching your Medicare client during the next AEP? So the call to action is provide your clients and their families with peace of mind. You have the ability, you have these existing relationships. I know there are some of you on this call today that have 500, 1,000, 3,000, 5,000, 8,000 Medicare clients that you're serving. There's a lot of opportunity in that number of clients. Leverage those relationships. Increase your income, your revenue by 20% or more. Product diversification means you're going to organically grow your business. And then you don't have to worry if whether or not CMS determines this is a commissionable program or not. Life insurance, it's always commissionable. You contact me, you can contact URL for additional training and compliant resources. Let me kind of explain and give you a little bit of an idea of what our training resources. We have our final expense closers clinic on demand, where you can see exactly how a final expense sale process works, from booking appointments to making an in-home presentation or over the phone, overcoming the objections, gaining the referrals, and going through it from beginning to end, soup to nuts. We do a Monday morning coaching call that takes place at 9 o'clock Eastern time. And we are always building business networking and mentorship programs as well. So you may work for yourself, you may be self-employed, but you're not on an island all by yourself. Life after AEP, you have the opportunity to grow your business organically. You can get more referrals. You're able to continue with client retention. All of that is addressed just by offering final expense planning and offering other products and services. So for those of you who would like to get access to any of the materials, whether it's the intake forms or the cross-selling letter, please email me, because I won't be able to, through this platform, I won't be able to send it to you that way. So let me ask you to email it, and then I will email me a request, and I will send you the attachments, or I'll send you an email with the compliant cross-selling materials. You can call me, or you can text me as well. My email is matta@url insgroup.com. Again, it's Matt A at URL insgroup.com. You can also call me or text me at this number, which is 717 216 8041. 717 216 8041. We should have a conversation about the companies you should add to your portfolio. We should have a conversation about making sure that we have the best strategic final expense plans out there, and have conversations with us here at URL. We have so many different ways that you can diversify your products. You don't have to spend a lot of time with certifications. We have referral programs. There's so much going on here at URL, and we're here to help serve you and help you put that client first and help provide them with peace of mind. That's what's important. So thank you very much, everybody, for your partnership. Thank you, everybody, for your time today. And we look forward to helping you in so many different ways, to helping you grow your business, maintain your independence, and grow your referrals, your revenue streams, and your retention all at the same time. Thanks, everybody, again, for your partnership and relying on URL. We know you have options with so many different IMOs out there, and we're privileged to be able to have you as a part of the URL family. So with that, thank you very much and enjoy the rest of your day. Take care, everybody. Bye for now.